Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 91 of the OG Technically Trek. I am your host, Dave Prime. Over there to my right is the Ditzy Witch, Captain Katie. How are you doing, my dear?
Um, I'm alive. I'm just getting over my third cold in as many weeks.
Oh, good grief.
But I am
Yeah,
mighty and I survived.
well, and yeah, actually, you do sound a lot better than
Yeah.
than the last time I heard you talk. But you said like you had a frog in your throat. It was such a big frog.
Yeah, my voice does keep going a little bit and my throat is very inflamed. Um, but I'm surviving. Although I went to a soft play centre this evening, final time before Christmas with a group of my friends and their kids, and guaranteed in a couple of days I'll probably have another cold.
Oh dear. Yeah. Keep talking.
But
I apologize. I forgot to flip a switch in the other room. I'll be right back.
but no, it's been um, it's been an interesting start to today and an interesting start to the week. But you know, this is the highlight. This is the highlight of my Monday. Well, technically it's Tuesday for me, but you know, can never get enough of Star Trek.
Yeah,
Oh my
I've got
boys.
yes, but no, I forgot to flip the on-air switch light in my apartment window to let the people at the house know that I'm doing something on the air. I might as well do the plug now, but on Saturday I partook in the Strange New Pod Secret Santa giveaway, and my Secret Santa got me what I thought she got me, the NX-01 model. Some
Oh,
assembly, some assembly required. When when I added it to my list, I didn't realize at the time that it was a model. So, yeah. So I've got something to do to occupy my time when I find the time to do it.
and just
But
do a little
yeah,
bit every day. Just do a little bit every day. You see, if I was ever to get anything like that, I'd have to get it like already made because
that's
I
that's what
have
I
the
thought it was.
patience of a saint when it comes to things. Like if my necklace was to get knotted, I could sit for an hour unknotting it and I would be fine. I'd be calm, I'd be relaxed. But doing something like that or like Lego or anything like that, I get so frustrated.
But but so it was live on the Discord server, which by the way, technically Trek is in the process of getting that set up. So some people have early access. I'm getting a link lined up for people so they can join in on that as well. So that's one of the new things coming in 2026. One of the other new things coming in 2026 is we are going to go back to our Wednesday time slot that we used to have years ago. Years ago is like a year and a half ago, but it seems like forever ago. But yeah, we're going to start going to be at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, starting January 7th. So new year, new year. I think similar time, same day, similar time. But yeah,
Right.
so we're
Okay.
going to
So
be.
that's right. Say that again because I completely zoned out. Then I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and well, here, let's do this to make it easier. I'm gonna say, and
Is it Wednesdays that we're changing
yes.
to?
Mm-hmm.
So 6 p.m. Pacific, that'll be 2 a.m. my time. That's fine.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So let's save, say add banner.
Yeah, I wasn't actually looking at you when you're talking, and I have to
Oh,
look at somebody when they're talking, or things get lost in translation.
yeah. But yeah, starting January 7th. So the first of the year, we're gonna go back to Wednesdays and say we got blessings for most everybody on it. So hopefully, I know no matter what day, what time we pick, it's not going to work for everybody. But
No.
hopefully, by moving back to Wednesdays, Tyson will be able to join in, and he will be able to stick around for the entire length of the show and not dipping out for a radio net or something. So,
well, yeah, because I mean that's just rude.
it is.
It is, but we love him, so we
We
allow it.
do. Yep. And we love his little fur baby as well.
Oh, the Cali pod. I miss
Oh
that pod.
yes.
I miss that pod as much as I miss Tyson.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably missed one just a little more than the other, though. Yeah, maybe. Just a smidge.
Yeah, I miss the Cali pod a little bit more.
But yeah, I don't know if you want to keep say the chat is blowing up right now. So hey guys, if you want to kind of start flashing those on the screen for us, Katie, as I'm kind of plug in the regular stuff. It's just like one thing that does make technically Trek unique to other Star Trek podcasts is like I've viewed quite a few of them. Say that they're great, especially like Strange New Pod. They actually gave our show a shout out on their Thursday show last week. And not only did I participate in the show and watch the Seahawks game, and oh my God, that Seahawks Rams game was a game for the ages. It's just so many records were broken. Uh, th- 3 2-point conversions, successful 2-point conversions. That's the most in Seahawks history. Winning with one of those 2-point conversions in overtime, the first time in NFL history, and to come back from a 16-point deficit in the fourth quarter. The Seahawks were 0 and 172 games when they're behind by the 15 points or more. Excuse me, they're down 16. They've never come back from a 15 plus point deficit ever. So I'm getting goosebumps. I mean, as a former sports writer, that was a hell of a game. And I kind of sort of accidentally missed an AA meeting I was supposed to chair that night. Whoops. Well, Phil's, yep, darn it. Allergies. The weather here in Colorado has been nuts. It got into the 70s today. It's not going to be a white Christmas here this year by any means. And my allergies are just all over the place. But yeah, say I'll be getting a drink here in a minute to maybe help quell it a little bit. But as I was saying, we welcome live participation. We got a lot of people blowing up the chat right now, which we love you all.
Thank you, Sajin. You are so loved. There is so much love going out to you all. And thank you for the shout out, my sweet.
So we not only can you participate in chat, saying if you in the Discord link, the Discord link, in the YouTube description below on my channel, Dave Prime 1701, there is a Discord link where it'll give you an opportunity to click it, request to you can turn your camera, keep your camera off if you're camera shy, but you can partake and we can hear your questions and comments live on the air. But sorry, dealing with some neuropathy attacks on my foot tonight, so yay for that. But as you all know, Dubby's my partner. See, I got a new flavor. It's still sealed. I have not tried this one yet, so we're gonna give it a try. And I actually got a knife to make the opening a lot easier than it was the last time that we.
What's the flavor? Sorry.
This one is Galaxy Grenade. It's got watermelon, guava, and lime explosion. It says.
Actually, sounds really nice.
Yeah, I think the next one I'm going to try is Big Energy Tears. But yeah, if you go to well, if you want to grab that link below, Katie, to kind of throw it up for everybody else, if you go to w.gg and use the code TechTrek, TEKTREK, you do get 10% off your order, and they are very well packaged. Let me tell you that.
What link? You do know that I'm terrible at technology, Dave. Why I'm the co-host, I don't know.
It's in the banners. Where did I put it?
Where is? I don't even
There
know
it
where the
is.
banners are. Where are the banners?
It's under the comments link. I have to dig. I have to dig for the scoop.
There they all are. Oh, I've just learned something new, people.
Where is the scoop?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you know what?
Yeah, in these things, so that's a bigger. See, I'm not going to drink this whole thing tonight because I have been up for going on 15 hours, almost 16 hours today, so it's been a long day.
Well, while Dave does that, I will give a bigger shout out to Dubby. And these are energy drinks that are supposed to give you the boost, but without the crash afterwards. And
Absolutely.
even though they're mainly directed at like gamers and podcasters, they would be ideal for students as well, who
Absolutely.
are like having a big cramming session for that final exam, or you know, they're having like a big study party or anything like that. Or if you just need that little bit of a boost, if you're having a little bit of a slow day. But yeah, if you go to dubby.gg and then the code TechTrek, TEKTREK, you will get 10% off your order. And it is really, really fairly priced, in my opinion.
Yeah, $40 for a 30-day supply, so that's a little over $1 a day. It's a lot less expensive than energy drinks that you get at the store. But
absolutely.
Down the hatch.
Oh, what's this like?
Tastes like Skittles. Tastes like a couple of different Skittle flavors that you just kind of pop in your mouth. So I mean, you definitely getting the lime. You're definitely getting the what was the other flavor that I just said was in it? The guava I can probably taste. Yeah, the watermelon. Yeah, getting all three flavors there. A minus. It's a good. It's better than Grandpa's Denture water, but it's just a lit not quite to that s'mores level. Which I mean, I've been doing that s'mores almost every day since I got it. There's another
that you
flavor.
like it.
Yeah, there's another flavor that I picked up that I actually got for free for being a partner with them. They say just a free hydro, please, and then they threw in a 30-day supply of one of their hydro products because there's Grandpa's Denture water and there's Grandpa's lemonade. So I'll try that one a little later. But for right now, we want to talk about the episode we're going to discuss tonight, yesterday's Enterprise, which
yes, very interesting.
Like, yeah, it's definitely another one of those what if scenarios. There are a lot of little tidbits from this episode that I'll sprinkle throughout the episode. And while you yes, I can't you know what? Actually, Phil did message me about if he was going to be able to partake or not. But Captain Garrett, Trisha O'Neill, this is the first of three appearances different appearances that she's done in Star Trek. Of course, Captain Garrett. She played the Klingon science officer Karak in the Next Generation episode Suspicions, but she also played the Cardassian Karina in the Deep Space Nine episode Defiant, when William Riker hijacked the Defiant. Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered why I recognized her.
Yeah, but of course she's in a lot of makeup in those other two episodes, but
yeah,
the
but you know,
the
sometimes
voices.
I'll watch something, and even if it's an episode of Star Trek, and I'm just like, do you know what? I recognize you, and I'm thinking and thinking, and I'll just be like, right, I've got to do an IMDb search on this, and then it'll be like, oh, Star Trek, and I'm like, I do not recognize you from Star Trek, and then I'll look at the episode, and I'm like, oh, no wonder you was in a ton of makeup. Or I'll recognize like a Cardassian or a Klingon, and I'm like, why do I know you? And I won't recognize the name or anything, and then it'll be like NCIS or like CSI, and I'm just like, nah, I don't know you from those. And then I'll actually look at a picture of them, and I'm like, yes, I do recognize you from those shows. Because all I can see is like a Klingon or a Cardassian in my head, you know, when I'm looking through these, and I'm not looking through the makeup.
Yeah, but see, I just double checked my messages. Yeah, Phil did message me, said he's going to try to come tonight, but he's at his aunt's house for the Christmas holiday. So he said that she tends to return early, so if I can, I'll pop in.
Well, hopefully we will see him.
Yes. One of the things that we were discussing backstage before the show is that we were talking about the practical models and then CGI and all that. So when they did this episode, of course, they used models. And when they created the model of the Enterprise C, which is another beautiful masterpiece of work, they used fireworks and sparklers to intentionally burn the model to give the scorched look that the sea had when it came out of the rift from battling the Romulans. It's a nice little geeky little trivia tidbit there.
And speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
We were just talking about you about that, Phil. So I don't know if you just literally popped in, but yeah, just like yep, he's at his aunt's. She typically turns in early, and then not 30 seconds later you get your comment. But yeah, there's just the chat is just blowing up today. So, but
nice.
What's that?
So it's nice, and I'm sorry if that doesn't sound very enthusiastic, but I'm really exhausted.
You and me both, my dear. Same bucks. It was a nice payment. I got over $20 to go take a customer 10 miles to the airport. So got $2 a mile on it. So that's $2 a mile. That's good. So
I like it when there are good days.
Yeah, I had a lot of other stuff going on, but I was able to get everything going. Was able to squeeze in the episode. Major Barrett got a bit of a bump in this episode too. Is saying when Castile and Tasha were walking in the hallway, there was an intercom call for Lieutenant Barrett.
Oh, do you know what? I saw that, but it didn't register. But as soon as you said that, I can see my subtitles.
Yeah, and there's one that I shared earlier that I'm going to share for the end of the episode, that there was something that didn't quite make the print. Let's just put it that way. Some people may know, some people may not, but we got Travis.
Is this what we was talking about when I said that they can piss off?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll say that again at the end of the show.
Well, we got Travis and Zach backstage. How's it going, guys? Travis, you are muted.
There's my boys.
Detroit, what?
It's going great and everything else. Just recently, I guess, everybody, yesterday was officially December the 21st, and we all know what December the 21st means.
Days are getting longer.
The winter solstice,
Thank you, Katie. Thank you.
Blessings to
everyone. I'm with Dave. The days are starting to get longer.
Though I think
that is the celebration of the solstice. It's when we welcome light. It's when we welcome back the light, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as Dave was saying earlier about like, we having some pretty wacky weather here in, the lower 48s, for our friends up in Canada. I know they've been kind of like, bearing the brunt of coldness and stuff, but like people like myself, Dave, and Zach, we've been getting some pretty mild weather, and we're gonna actually they talk about we're gonna have some mild weather for Christmas this year, and it seemed like we're not going to be. Some places like us are not going to have what they call a white Christmas and stuff. So
we already
you
had the
know
one.
what?
We had it
Huh?
early. We had it early.
As did we.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad to see too, Dylan, Jim, Phil. I'm glad to see you guys showed up. Y'all in chat. I've been chatting with you guys, in chat and everything else before Dave brought us on and stuff and everything else. We want to say thank you for stopping in, Dylan. You know what? This is what I tell people. Join us in. You can listen to us talk, and it may not be something that you'd be interested, but sometimes we do go off technically track as we do, but we talk about episodes in the episode in general, or we talk about in Star Trek and everything, and we just enjoy people who interact with us and can contribute to the discussion. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to. Be like some of us who are just literally, we have like, got stuff memorized to Star Trek, but like, we appreciate all participation and stuff and everything else. And we enjoy if anybody feels like Dave said to come on and chat with us, verbally, visually, or in chat, you're welcome while we're live.
And one other thing, I've been running into some mild hiccups in it, but we are going to be on Spotify here in 2026 as well. So that's one thing that's been long due. So we might not have all the old episodes on there, but we'll have the most current episodes, especially now with Starfleet Academy coming up in just about 3 weeks, I think.
Okay.
Wait.
Well,
That's
let's
when-
get to the episode, because before we start jambling all over the place and stuff, let's talk about the opening scene. Did anybody remember the opening scene?
Oh,
Yes, and I'm so disappointed in Worf.
Disappointed that he just discovered prune juice, or
No, I'm disappointed that he likes it and he calls it a warrior's drink. It is disgusting. It is vile. It is disgusting. It's one of those drinks that should not exist unless for medical purposes. But no, he has no honor.
well,
the Klingon taste buds could be different.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I accidentally purchased prune juice once a couple of years ago, thinking it was grape juice, and I just took one sip of it, and I was like Garrick drinking root beer. This is vile. What the heck is this? And
It's got no taste, but the taste is disgusting, if that makes sense. It's
Well, it has
so
plenty of-
dry. It's so dry. And it tastes dry. It's not just that it is dry, it tastes dry and tasteless. If that even makes sense at all. If anybody is with me on this, please put it in the comments.
Honestly, I never had prune juice, so I would not know what prune juice tastes like. I smelt it before, but it never hit the. In my 47 years of living, I had never tasted prune juice.
Travis.
Yeah. Don't.
Do you know how I did DT homework and I had to suffer through season 1 of Discovery?
Yes.
I am giving you official, technically Trek homework to taste prune juice by the end of January.
Oh, taste prune juice by the end of January.
By our last show in January, you have to have tasted prune juice and give us our report.
Well, no, let's make this a two-way thing. Saying if Travis has got to try prune juice, you got to try something. that you haven't tried before?
Like,
That's something we might have to talk about backstage. we make this interesting. Say we got, yeah. Say either that or what we'll do is you, since I've been doing my live tastings like this, Grandma's lemonade. It's all right. It's another
yes,
B.
get some prune juice by the time we have our last show in January and do a live tasting, Travis.
But we gotta have you try and taste something in return, Katie. Something that we that's what we got to talk about that backstage. We got to figure something out for you to
Oh,
do as
challenges.
well.
Challenge. Any ideas, people? Put it in the comments. If there's anything you want me to try live on air while Travis tries the disgusting juice, then you know, put it in the comments. And if I haven't tried it, it will be, I will write it down on a piece of paper, fold it up, put it into a hat, and if there's many that I haven't tried, and then I will pick one at random. And if I can purchase it across here, because don't forget I'm in the UK. If I can purchase it across here, I will get it and I will try it.
Okay, well maybe we can do a random, like put all the ones in a hat, and then someone else pulls it. Then that's what you got to try.
Well, yeah, do that. I would be quite happy to do that. I mean, obviously, if I cannot purchase it in the UK and it is not financially feasible for me to purchase it from America to send across here, then I will have to try something else that I can purchase in the UK. But I'm willing. You know, I may make a face like Data in Generations when he tastes that drink when he gets his emotions. But, you know, I couldn't give two shits. Although I'm sure that by drinking prune juice, Worf will. Because I hope that the amount of prune juice he drinks does not interfere with his duties.
Mm-hmm. If you don't mind me, I'll just look at all my notes here. Let's see, I mentioned the fireworks, so I don't need to talk
But
about
no, I love the look on Guinan's face when Worf tastes the prune juice and he likes it. And she is just so amused, but very calm at the same time.
Well, not only that, say the conversation that they had, just like, you're always drinking in here alone. You need to find some companionship. It's like, I need a Klingon woman for companionship, and then one of the room times Worf actually laughs. And it's like some women on this ship find you tame, and he's like, yeah, right.
Oh, that laugh. I'm sorry, but I love that laugh. I really do. I love his laugh. It's not often that you hear Worf laugh, but when he does, it is just, it is beautiful.
Yeah, and how casual he reacted when she called him a coward.
Yeah, because you don't call a Klingon a coward.
No, it says the way when Picard called him a coward in First Contact, he's about, if you were any other man, I'd tell you where you stand. But
but the conversation that they were having and the fact that he knows Guinan and that she was only saying it in jest, you know.
Oh yeah, she's a coward.
Yeah, and will you? Sorry, my broom is feeling me up. But it's playing footsie with me under my table. But no, I think I know, scandalous, isn't it, Zach? But yeah, I think he knows that she was just playing, and I mean, I think the fact that he's been around like humans, and even though she's not human, she's very much like humans in a sense, you know, and because he's grown up around humans and the different cultures on Earth, I think he recognizes subtle humor more than other Klingons do. And I like that interaction because it just goes to show that there's a you see, I read so deep into that opening scene. It is ridiculous. And when you just said that how casually you reacted to being called a coward, you know,
I'm just
with
concerned
how
for the welfare.
But this is the thing, they were having a laugh, they were having a banter, and it was almost like a very human interaction, even though he is very much Klingon. But for me, that goes to show that there is a very big difference between nature and nurture. And even though at his core he is Klingon, he has got Klingon instincts, that is nature, but the nurture has helped him integrate a lot better into the Federation and into humanity. And I really love that. And you can kind of see a little bit of his human parents in him in that scene. Because I mean, I love his human parents. I do. And in that scene, you could almost see a little bit of his human mother. And I loved that. I mean, you know, that's how geeky I am about certain characters.
But to jump to another episode, family, after the Best of Both Worlds, when Guinan talks to them about, say, why didn't you ever give Worf prune juice? And they're just like, it was a human food. He wanted to touch it. He wanted everything Klingon. I learned how to make fruitcake blood pie.
Yeah. But as he's grown up, I mean, like even though you don't meet his parents until like after the episode we saw today, the fact that, you know, we have met his parents because we've seen all these episodes before, and I adore them, and I saw little bits of them within that conversation. I'm just like, do you know what? You brought that boy up right. And, you know, they didn't shy away from his heritage, that they still, you know, embraced it. They gave him what he wanted, all the Klingon stuff, but they still taught him human values, humor, love, care, and all that lot. And it's a very, very lovely mix in War. And Michael Dorn does it really well.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing I got to give a big shout out for, Dennis McCarthy knocked it out of the park with the track for the tracks he put together for this episode. Saying where there's like the intense battle music from at the end of the episode to that very somber, sad music when Riker and the away team beamed aboard the Enterprise C later from what we're talking about now. But he is one of the masters when it comes to putting soundtracks together. That's he got an Emmy for the original Deep Space Nine theme. So,
but also the lighting crew. The lighting in this episode was beautifully done. And even though the majority of it was quite dark because it was like an alternate timeline, it was war, the way, I mean, I don't know if anybody noticed, and I don't even know if this was just me or not, but when, even though like on the alternate Enterprise, the lighting was a lot darker than the original Enterprise. The lighting when Guinan spoke to Picard, and she's just like, this isn't right, when she first spoke to him, and like behind them there was like the board with all the like the
consoles.
Yeah, but it was more, it looked more like a strategy board or something behind them. It wasn't quite consoles. In
his office, yeah, that big huge Enterprise with the circle and the whatever.
That seemed
to my hands a lot tonight.
Yeah, the lighting seemed to go a little bit darker in there, but it was only very subtle because you did have the lights on the board behind, and then when when Guinan was talking to Tasha, even though the lighting was dark, it was softer somehow. And then it seemed to go a little bit darker when Guinan told Tasha straight that she should be dead. But then when Tasha went into Picard's office, into his ready room to request the transfer, the lighting was a bit more up. And it was only very subtle, but, and now, like I said, I don't know if it's just me, because I've actually altered the lighting on my TV, but I've noticed this before in certain episodes. It's very, very subtle the way that they do it. But there are times when even the dark lighting can seem more softer, and then it can just go down a notch where it's barely noticeable and then up a notch. Again, it's very, very subtle, but I watch out for things like that. And because I'm extremely light sensitive, I do tend to notice the lighting a lot more in these things. But no, I love the way the lighting was done, the music with the lighting as well. It was so good. I cannot praise the effects and the music and the two together enough, because it was so, do you know what, with the lighting, the circumstances, and then the music to go with it, I actually teared up a little bit in a couple of places. And it was just like, wow. You know, and I got really into it, more so than I think I have done before, to be honest. And even though this episode is very, very much of a whirlwind of emotion for a lot of reasons, watching it this time hit me in the feels so much more than it normally does. And I really did feel it. And I don't know if that's because of the time of year that it is or whatever, but yeah, it was quite intense.
It was a good storyline. So props to the writing team that put this together.
Yeah.
I think there was someone that actually didn't get a writing credit on it because there were so many writers on it already. Let's see, let me pull it up here again. It was, I think, I want to say Brandon Bragg off the top of my head, but let me just make sure that I was right.
I don't know. I'm a terrible Trekkie, and I'm a terrible podcaster, because I don't look into these things. But I know that you and Travis are like extra geeky, so I know that you do these things. I'm more geeky for like character profiling and deep psychology background, things like that. Whereas you two are more of the technical aspects and the writing and the composers and things like that. And yeah, so I'll let you two deal with all the intricate things, because you know we've got Rain Man here, and then you know you are just like a super geek of Trek, Dave. And I love you both for it, and together, you know, I don't think there's anything that you miss.
Yeah, Michael Pillar was did some of the work on the screenplay. Yeah, see, Michael Pillar did some work on the screenplay, but his name was left off the credits due to the Writers Guild regulations relating to the limits of number of writers being credited to a single script. So there was a lot of hands in the pot on this episode. But
I'm not surprised. It was brilliantly done.
Yeah, same. But I mean, it's constantly top 5, top 10 episodes in all of Star Trek. And saying it at the Star Trek Las Vegas back in 2016, this was voted number 5 of all the Star Trek at that point. So, but I mean, it's still top 5 caliber. And say they back in back in 94, when the Next Generation came to an end, they put a poll out to Star Trek fans, and this was number 3 out of top 5 favorite episodes of all of Trek, behind The Inner Light, and of course, surprise, surprise, Best of Both Worlds. I forget what 4 and 5 were offhand. It's been a while.
Ow.
Maybe, yeah. Don't hurt yourself, my dear.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. But no, I see. I've got very, very different opinions to the most of Trek. In all honesty, because for me, I would say out of all the Next Generation episodes, this episode is probably. You see, I don't do a top 10, I do a top 20. And this is probably around about 11, 12 for me.
Wow. Maybe that's an. I think we were talking about this before. Say we should each put out a top 5.
No, I'd say that it's like 9. If I'm doing a
Okay.
top 10, but I'd say it was probably about a 9.
But I was just thinking for ideas after we do season 1 of Starfleet Academy, we should maybe start like one episode. We'll do what's our top 5 episodes from this series, and explain why, and see if our viewers agree or disagree with that belief.
Absolutely, I think that would be really good. Because I know for a fact that my top 5 will be of each series will be so different to everybody else's.
Most likely. I mean, I'm sure there's bound to be some similarities where my number 1 will be Travis's number 2 or 3, or vice versa.
Yeah, probably
So
my
Chad,
top 5 won't even make your top
so
10.
Chad, like, share this content. Tell your friends, your family, your social media pocket friends, and tell them to
Pocket friends.
comment. leave a comment down below and give us what topics do you want us to bring to the table after Starfleet Academy. Let's bring that to the vote. Let's let you all decide. So drop a comment at the end of the show or right now, and let us know. Let us know what type of topic you want us to dive into. What do you want us to do?
If you don't want to do it in the chat, drop either me at TechnoDave or Katie at Katie_XXX. She is not a porn star. I think that's why she's been throttled back on some things in Twitter in the past, but that's just her. Those are kisses, not porn.
Yeah, as you will see, I put kisses on the end of all of my messages. It's something I've always done since the very first text message that I ever sent. So yeah, just so people are not confused.
But anyway, I want y'all to comment, interact, post show, go into the comments section. The comments end up breaking through that algorithm. So comment and tell us what you want us to do for the next segment of the show to expand this thing and bring about other options. I mean, episodic is fun, and maybe that's what all you want us to do is episodic. But give us your suggestions and put a comment down there at the end of the show. And for those who watch afterwards.
Oh, sorry, I thought I had a sneeze.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there are worse than close calls and softcore hollow porn and next gen.
That Bartholomew was totally doing that because I mean, I'm socially awkward. So I mean, I'm sure others have dealt with that affliction as well. So you can't get real giggity, and you can't get real, so get giggity in this holodeck.
Exactly. I think that'd be a very good discussion. I think that'd be a very good topic to discuss because and also hollow what is it? Hollow sexual therapy as well.
See, God bless the Lord. God bless the Lord Decker that has to do waste extraction in the holodeck.
Yeah, God bless him. As a Catholic and a Thomas at that, no, I don't know. That's lust. That's very, very licentious.
But
and it's weird. Why are you fucking a holodeck character?
I suppose it beats masturbating.
Yeah. What's the difference, though?
Exactly, but you know, come on, it's more entertaining. I would think it'd be more entertaining on the whole. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
It's like the Tasha Yar having sex with Data. It happened, everybody, and it's hilarious.
It didn't go Data. She's hot.
Well, she is hot though. Good job, Data.
Yeah,
but see, when did this get published?
When did this?
But
when did this episode?
1990, February 90th, February 17th, 1990.
Oh, very quickly, I got us another subscriber today.
Woohoo!
Yeah, while I was at a soft play center surrounded by feral children.
There you are.
Yeah, one of the parents subscribed while I was there.
Right on. Yeah, because I noticed we got up to 60 subscribers, so yay.
Yeah.
But no, it's been a while since I've opened up this box. Its box is not in the best of condition. It's falling apart. There's a reason why I pulled this out. It's got, I mean, it's insane. It's the blueprints of the Enterprise. And it's got deck by deck diagrams of every deck of the ship.
Oh, that is so nice.
But one of these blueprints has Cetacean Ops on it, and Cetacean Ops was actually called out on this episode.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, say I can't remember the time index on it, but it had I think it was fine. Ensign Kim report to Cetacean Ops. A different Ensign Kim, unless Harry. Well, Harry was just fresh out of the academy on Voyager, so this is 5 years before his appearance. But no, Cetacean Ops was actually called out, and that's why Lower Decks actually has a Cetacean Ops on the Cerritos.
Oh.
But see, I've been wondering where I put this.
Oh, I love that. I love that dude.
I got it signed by him, so it's got value to it. But I also David Tennant and Billy Piper.
Oh. And don't make me get out all my autographs, Dave.
No, but I got a certificate of authentication saying, yeah, this is really David Tennant's autograph. But I wonder where the heck. I tucked them away somewhere when I moved here to Colorado Springs, and I just like, where the fuck did I put them? I put them with my Enterprise
and I've
blueprints.
got 3 Star Trek autographs. Melissa Navia, Babs. I can never pronounce his last name. I am so sorry. He played Dr. Mbenga in Strange New World.
Yeah.
His
last name is a mouthful.
Yeah. So Dr. Mbenga from Strange New World, Erica Ortegas from Strange New World, and what's his name from Discovery season 2? He was played by Alan Van Sprang. He got taken over by Control.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking.
Yeah,
he was cute.
Yeah, I got his autograph mainly because he's in Shadowhunters. But he's I love him in Discovery season 2 as well, and he was very, very surprised that I spoke to him about Star Trek. He was so confused. He was so confused. He was there for Shadowhunters, and I talked to him about Star Trek.
Well, that was my experience when I met Christopher Lloyd. Was that because I mean, the replica of the DeLorean, everyone wanted to talk to him about Back to the Future. I talked to him about Commander Krug from Star Trek 3, and his eyes just lit. His eyes just lit up. I mean, and he smiled. He was just like, not a lot of people talk to me about that. Thank you. I was saying,
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, he was my favorite villain of all the Star Trek movies. Even better than Khan.
Yeah,
Khan in his busty chest.
Yeah. Sorry, that's TOS.
But also, just I mean, when the Enterprise C came through the rift, it was obviously a ship of Federation design. And first words out of Picard's mouth was, "Is that an enemy vessel?" It's like, dude, do you not know your history?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but when it came through, it looked very similar. Like initially, because of the saucer section, it looked very similar to the D.
Absolutely. The design of the D is based off of the Ambassador class ships. Just a bigger saucer, essentially just a bigger saucer section and flatter secondary hull.
Yeah, and I'm just, you see, I question that, and I'm just like, sweetheart, have you got your contact lenses in? Maybe you should get some glasses. But I'm just like,
maybe it was the written X.
I mean, maybe it was slightly disorientated. Maybe it was a little bit dizzy because of the timeline alteration. But, I'm just like, nah. It's obvious that is a Starfleet ship. So that comment seemed kind of out of place.
That's why I wrote it down too, because it definitely seemed a out of place comment for a seasoned Starfleet officer like that to not know what an ambassador class ship is looking like.
Yeah.
They say there's too much gravimetric interference, but it's cut and dry what it looks like on the view screen.
I mean, excuse me, I do apologize to everyone for yawning, but I mean, I could understand if like the gravimetric distortions were interfering with the view screen and it was a little bit fuzzy, then maybe that comment wouldn't be out of place. But with the view screen being crystal clear, that's why it was that comment was out of place, in my opinion. And I don't know, but yeah, I'm glad that you flagged that as well. And that it wasn't just me. But I mean, I actually forgot what this episode was, and I know I'm a bad Trekkie. I'm a bad Trekkie. But I actually forgot at first what this episode was, and when just after that, when the timeline changed and Picard turned around and Tasha was there, I'm like, oh, holy hell, it's this episode. And I'm just like, oh, there you are. Because I love Tasha.
And just the way that they framed that too is that Picard turned blocking the view of Worf before the ship came through. They did the little timey-wimey thing, and then Picard turns around and Tasha's standing there. I can only imagine the insanity that would have happened upon the first airing of that. Saying, what? So, where's she came from?
Oh yeah, I mean, the first time that I ever saw this episode, because I mean, as everybody knows, I was very late to Trek. I didn't actually start watching Next Generation until I think 2001. And when I first saw this episode, when Picard turned round and it was Tasha stood there, I actually squealed with delight, and I'm just like, holy hell.
Yeah.
And it was just it was amazing to see her.
And no, go ahead.
And that she was, that even in an alternate timeline, she was still a tactical as well.
Yep.
And I love that. She was right where she was. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I'm sorry. Go on, Dave.
I forgot what I was going to say now. But one random thought, was she a Lieutenant JG or a full lieutenant? Hi, back, Katie. Bleh. But we talked backstage. We have an idea of what's causing all her zoomings and flippies and all that sort of stuff. So
it's a poltergeist.
A poltergeist.
It's a poltergeist. Yeah, from Roma.
Yes.
Trauma. The Trauma movie, Poltergeist. Poultry, guys.
Yes. No wonder I've been getting a lot of feathers in my bedroom.
I was just making it funny, then you just took it up a notch.
That's a lot of chicken sex.
But this what's all right. That's a lot of what?
Sometimes there are words that you just don't repeat.
But
if you want me to, yeah, you'll just have to rewind it back.
You're evil.
Yep. I
question our friendship.
I said that is a lot of chicken sex.
What?
And now Dylan is laughing. See?
Yeah. Well, you know, I've got to get my rocks off somehow, Anna.
No, I mean, it could be worse. It could be hollow porn.
Oh boy.
I think I prefer that.
Well, it is technically, it's all code, but it does manifest into human.
I think we've broken Dylan. That'll explain it, why I've been ill for 3 weeks.
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
That explains it, Dave, why I've been so ill for 3 weeks. The poltergeist has given me bird flu.
I believe
that explains everything. That explains everything, damn poltergeist.
I believe it.
But this was also...
I'm sorry. I've been around children today. I'm sorry.
That'll do it.
Oh, and now Phil just was able to hop into the chat here. How's it going, man?
Hey, hi everyone.
Oh,
hey, happy holidays.
You missed the poltergeist jokes.
Oh, no.
Oh,
we're making burnt jokes.
Yep, I'm in the dark on that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry that you came in when you did, Phil, but we are so glad to see you and we love you. But you came in at a very opportune moment. Yeah, Zach was mentioning chicken sex, and then we was discussing problems with my camera. Zach said it was a poltergeist, and then he changed it to poltergeist.
I changed it to poltergeist.
Yeah, and then I said, no wonder I've been seeing feathers all around my room. And then he mentioned that. Then that's when he mentioned the chicken sex, and I was yeah. So and then Dave said, mentioned something about bird flu. I don't know where that came from. So now we've discovered it. The poltergeist is affecting my camera. And it's also the reason why I have been ill for 3 weeks, because the poltergeist gave me bird flu.
Because what they're doing is, while she's in the other room, they come out of the closet and they have chicken sex.
Exactly.
So, in amongst all this, you do still talk about Star Trek, right?
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, because that was I brought up earlier about a topic that we could discuss: hollow porn, yay or nay? And Zach said, Zach said about the chicken sex or the hollow porn, and we're weighing that up. So
I'd probably choose, the hollow porn would probably be, at least you can get laid with the hollow porn.
Exactly.
Or recreate the chicken sex on the holodeck.
Everything gets laid as an egg.
Blame Zach.
Brilliant.
Blame Zach for that. Blame Zach for that.
Brilliant. This is what you get on Technically Trek, everybody. So if you like this content, go ahead, hit that like button, and then go use Tech Trek on some dubby.gg and get yourself 10% off. Also use Legacy Ride as well. Use both of them, then you get 20% off.
No, you got to do separate transactions, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's two different orders. You get one order.
For my channel, Legacy Ride for Zach's channel. So it helps support everybody, and you might get some special deals because, see, I got Grandma's Lemonade for free as a content creator, so yay! And I also got Galaxy Grenade. Definitely tastes like a mouthful of Skittles. Would be I think the best way to describe this flavor. Just the Skittles. Watermelon gives it a little more bite.
I don't like what Skittles are made of, but I do like Skittles. Taste the rainbow.
Anyways, back to the episode. You're gonna say something, Phil?
Oh, nope, it's okay. I'm using this on my iPad and I'm not used to it, and the chat text just goes completely over top of everything. So I'm just
there.
We go.
A way to turn that off.
Yeah, I can't see. Wish it would be at the side or something. You would think it would do that.
Well, it is on the side. I guess it just depends on the orientation, all that on the iPad. But yeah, this is the earliest indication that which not until generations we learned that Guinan species are called Elorians, but we learned that her species is sensitive to changes of time because in generations, a part of Guinan was left behind in the Nexus, so she's attuned to things like that. She feels changes in vibration of the universe and all that. So when the Enterprise C jumped forward in time, she say, I just got a feeling that this doesn't feel right. This is not right. This is not the way it's supposed to be. But the history between her and Picard seemed to be constant to a certain extent. See, we've known each other for a long time. You've known me. I won't just say something stupid. It's essentially what she was saying. I wouldn't be making this shit up. Just that ship does not belong here. It needs to go back. But just the way she reacted when she first saw Tasha, then that was just like she knew, even though she knew that she didn't know Tasha. That some of your auntie's goodies there you're chewing on?
I am. I'm sorry.
That's all good.
Butter tarts. Very Canadian thing. I was surprised to find out that Americans don't know what butter tarts are.
I don't think I've heard of butter tarts either. But it definitely sounds Canadian.
They are amazing. They are so good, though.
They sound good.
Anyway, sorry, I don't want to take you off.
Yeah, but the way I wrote it down, Guinan having some heebie-jeebies.
Who had the heebie-jeebies?
Guinan.
Oh, absolutely, like huge amounts.
Yeah, because she was in 10 forward when it all happened, and she turned around saying, "This isn't right. This is not my bar. What the heck?"
Yeah, the way that Picard reacted, though.
Oh yeah, he was like,
he's
like she's gone crazy or something. But the more that she talked to him, the more that she kind of started picking up, just like, yeah, maybe she's on to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you think in that timeline, I mean, this is an existing timeline that's been going on, so she's never shown any sign of anything until the ship came through, and then all of a sudden something was
absolutely
off.
But as well, but now I've spoken to a few people like way back when about this episode, and a lot of people said that Picard was acting very out of character in this episode with the way that he reacted to Guinan, but I completely disagree.
How so?
One, we all know how stoic Picard is. Probably more so than any other captain. 2, this is an alternate timeline. 3, the amount of stress that he'd have been under in this war, then having to deal with this wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff, and then all of a sudden, you know, someone comes to him, regardless of who it was, and says, "This is not right. This shouldn't be happening. That ship needs to go back." You know, he had no explanation. It was a very tense situation. They could be attacked at any time. And, you know, there's only so much any person can take before they start getting a little bit snippy.
This is a Captain Picard that's in the middle of a war, too. Like, this is...
Exactly.
Yeah, this is not the Picard of exploration. This is the Picard of battle now, right? So it's...
Exactly, and this is why I say that the way that Picard reacted was absolutely not out of character at all.
Yeah.
Because there was a few differences with Picard in this episode, and that was all because it's a different timeline. They're in the middle of a war. They could be attacked at any time, and they've got the ship from the past, and then told that this timeline is wrong, and all that jazz. And it's like I said, there's only so much a person can take before they start getting a little bit snippy. And, you know, as well, I don't know if anybody noticed, but Picard's body language in general was a lot different in this episode. He was more... He was more on edge. He was more
rigid.
Tense. Yes, he was more rigid. He was more... But... Now, Picard can be quite rigid at times as well, but he's still got a fluidity to his movements, whereas in this episode, in the alternate timeline, it was almost robotic sometimes with how tense he was and how very military his movements were. His movements were a lot more precise, clean cut, with a sharp edge, which is more military, which fit this episode. And he radiated a more take no shit persona as well when he was dishing out orders, but it was still Picard at the same time, and I think that was done very, very well by Patrick Stewart. And I noticed all the little differences, even just the way he turned his head. It was more, he turned with his body as well. And it was I mean, that's what Picard does, but this was a lot more, like I say, it was a lot more military. It was a lot more controlled and sharp, and it fit the alternate timeline so well. Just those subtle changes in his whole, like the whole of his body language was very, very well done.
Well, and not only that, so you're talking about militaristic, is say the ship's log. It's
military
like
log.
the military log combat date, not star date, but combat date.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. The slight changes to the body language, his tone as well. You know, it was different. It wasn't as gentle. It wasn't as mellow. And that then like when he's usually doing his captain's log, you know, and just everything about him was a lot sharper and more controlled and more military, and it was very well done because there wasn't really much of a difference with the other characters. That they were still very much themselves in a way, whereas it was more even though there were subtle differences in the way that they carried themselves in the alternate timeline, it was more noticeable for me with Picard. And I mean, Patrick Stewart is absolutely phenomenal, and you know, these subtle but intense changes in his movements, his tone, it fit perfectly with this alternate timeline, and I've got to take my hat off to him because he pulls it out of the bag every time. What are your thoughts, Phil?
Oh, it was just as you were saying that, I was thinking for a brief moment. I think that's I think it's probably why they wanted somebody like Patrick Stewart, is who when they first signed on, is somebody who had a wide range in their acting abilities, and he's of course a Shakespearean actor, so
Yes.
they'd understood subtlety in performances like body language. I think because Star Trek, when writing for Star Trek, things can get pretty all over the place. So they needed somebody with that kind of range, and he's definitely, like he whenever things goes in like a different timeline, different situation, whatever, and he can kind of he takes all these little nuances into account. And so, so even little things like body language and subtle ways in the way he turns and whatnot, that, I think that's all, completely on purpose. I think that's something he has thought through before stepping on a set. So,
I mean, they're the type of things I look for in episodes, and you know, whereas Travis and Dave, for example, that you two will watch it. Yeah, we watch the same episodes, but you two delve deeper into different things than what I do. And I find it very interesting. Even though we're watching the same episode, we see it from completely different perspectives sometimes.
Yeah.
And it makes for really interesting conversation. And that is why I love doing this show.
Yeah. I've seen, it's been a while since I've seen that episode, and I wanted to try and watch it before I came on, but it's been an insane week, and I've spent the whole day traveling up north. So, but I've seen it numerous times, so I still kind of remember most of it, and I thought, but it was up there, one of my top favorite episodes. This one, I remember that I really, really liked it when it came on, and it was just interesting to see a different kind of Enterprise, like to see a different bridge and different lighting, and how dark the episode is. But
and how dark, even Picard's eyes were darker in this episode. We talked about it backstage.
Right.
He was wearing dark brown contacts for this episode.
Oh, is that
for
right?
the sole to make, because Patrick Stewart has hazel eyes, But yeah, he had
Oh,
brown
yeah.
Actually,
brown
technically,
contacts.
he has green hazel eyes.
Well, s-
But still,
still
to
hazel.
make the choice to wear darker
Difference.
contacts
Well,
for the episode.
Well, they did it to make the character darker.
Mhm.
So not only was the lighting darker, the eyes were darker.
Mhm. Wasn't there
But yeah, a
something
lot
else
of the
with
time.
Riker? What else was different about him?
Yeah.
He had gashes in
was-
his neck. I don't know. He
Oh,
seemed
yeah, there
more
was something.
definitely. Yeah, he was definitely seemed more. He was a lot more abrasive, more opinionated
Yes.
when calling Picard out in
Mm.
some of his decisions.
Yeah, it
And
was a
Picard
lot more
put him
blunt.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, and Picard put him in his place to say this isn't a, or how did he say it? This is, he said this is a brief, not a briefing. Was it a briefing when they all met in his, which was interesting that they had
Yeah.
that, this is a briefing. I was saying I'm just flushing this out. I'm just spitting this out, and I'm talking to all you guys. The more I talk about it, Guinan's choice to send the ship back is the way to do it.
Yeah, and he get that. You know, I mean, he was able to get that. And I think as soon as Guinan went to him the first time, he knew, but he was like in denial about it, and he didn't. I think it was more of a matter of he didn't want to accept it, because if you can imagine that you are the captain of a warship, and you have been at war for decades with the same enemy, and it's only getting worse. You're slowly losing the battle, and then someone comes to you and says, this isn't right, this timeline's wrong, we shouldn't be at war, and it's all because of that shit. It needs to go back to where it came from. If you can imagine being in Picard's situation, he will be questioning so much. He'll be like, well, will the other timeline be better or worse? Will any of us be alive or dead? Is this war pointless? Have we been fighting a pointless war? You know, how did this alternate timeline come about if this is true? Has Guinan lost the plot? You know, have I lost the plot? You know, all of these questions that have been tumbling around in his head, but at the same time, he'd have been like, you know, Guinan's right. Even though there's no explanation, there's no proof or anything, he knew that Guinan was right the minute she said. But then obviously all these questions tumbling around in his head, and like it was almost trying to convince himself that it wasn't true because he's got no proof and there's no evidence to support it, just Guinan's intuition. but no, I think like this, when Guinan went to him again and she's just like, you know, I have never imposed myself upon anyone, and you know, we've known each other a long time. The only proof you have, the only evidence that you have, or I can't remember exact words, is to go on my word, my intuition. And you know, that's when he knew that he couldn't deny it anymore. When Guinan gave that speech, he knew straight away, yeah, that she is correct. And all that time, he was in denial because it was too far-fetched, for one. There was no proof. It was one person on the entire ship, and all he knew from his perspective is that it was a warship, and then she's talking about families and children being on board, and it just blew his mind. And I think that that's another reason why he got a little bit snippy as well, is because he had his mind blown, almost quite literally. And you know, he wasn't just having all of these questions in his head, he was questioning his reality. And that had been the biggest thing with him. And yeah, so all of that, you know, it's a huge thing. It really is. And it was done so well. And you could see the connection between him and Guinan throughout all of this. That the years of friendship, even in an alternate timeline. And I really liked it.
Yeah, I love that we've been hovering at about 47 live viewers right now. So that's a very Star Trek number right now.
Nice.
Well, let's get through. Let's get to 50. Let your friends know that we're still talking yesterday's Enterprise. And of course, like and subscribe to the channel if you're liking what we're talking about, getting a good laugh when we veer off topic, but then was able to get back on it or find creative ways to be off topic yet stay on topic, because a lot of cases it goes that way.
I went away from Travis. He has been very unusually quiet during this entire episode, and I'm wondering why. Travis speaks in a mad owl.
You're nodding off.
Say what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think someone's nodding off.
Yeah.
No.
Both nod off. Yeah, you've been a little unusually quiet for this episode.
No, I've just been listening to everybody.
But
I've just been listening to everybody talk.
Yeah, don't do what I did. Don't do what I did on my very, very first Twitter space, where I nodded off and was snoring for about God knows how many hours.
Oh, but your little snuffly snores became the soundtrack to the rest of that space. It was beautiful. It was quite relaxing, and it was so funny as well. We could even hear you turn over and everything in your sleep. It was funny.
Yeah, that was during my drunk days, but no more. Saying so. Let me look at the calendar again here.
But yeah, Travis, you've been unusually quiet during the entire episode, and it's very unlike you. So I would like to give you the time to respond to what we've been discussing.
And one question after that. The reason is who is on tonight? Who's playing tonight? I think I know why.
Oh.
I'm actually watching the game. It's San Francisco and I think Detroit.
What's the score?
Oh, it's halftime. I believe. Oh shoot, I changed it over real quick because no, San Francisco and the Colts. I changed it over. I'm sorry, I was looking at things. San Francisco's up. I think it's 14-7.
Okay, so 1 touchdown game. There's still time for them to lose.
Yeah,
San Francisco loses, that helps Seattle more.
But no, back to your questions and stuff and everything. I've just been absorbing and listening to everybody's, comment and stuff and everything else about this particular episode and everything else. One thing too, I could say this, I like to, I'm gonna do it because I know it's getting late right now, and I'm gonna try to do a real quick synopsis of the entire episode if I can, from Act 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the Enterprise, so we saw Worf and Guinan, y'all talked about that, about them stuff. He got called to the bridge, and they detected a temporal rift. It was a Kerr loop, I believe it's a Kerr loop and stuff. The reason why there's a temporal rift and stuff is because the Enterprise D or the Enterprise C, in the sense they explained it in the episode that there was a super strain that was detected. The Enterprise detected a super strain energy, I believe a super strain energy, something like that, in the vicinity. Now, combine that with high yield disruptor fire, which came from the Romulan vessel, opened up the temporal rift. That's how the Enterprise C jumped to the future and stuff like that because of the high yield weapons and stuff and everything else. That's one thing that was explained in the episode stuff. So we got the temporal, we saw the temporal shift and everything else. We saw the visual thing where as soon as the Enterprise C came through, and when I first seen this and everything, I was just like, ooh, we got a new class ship that I had never seen before. And I was really young at the time because I was just thinking, this is gonna be interesting to see this particular ship and stuff. So when they was able to take sensor readings, and because I knew you guys heard about y'all said y'all was seeing the view screen, Picard could not tell and everything else. I guess sensor interference from the rift was scrambling their sensors and stuff like that. People said that he could or could not distinguish what class or what type of ship it was, a Federation ship and stuff. But once they got sensor readings and stuff and everything else, they checked the registry, and they discovered that it was the Enterprise C. So that right there, when they start saying what's with Enterprise C and everything else, because they had no record of the Enterprise C and stuff like that. Then basically we seen Riker basically giving orders to the emergency medical staff to get ready to transport aboard the ship and everything else. Picard said belay that order and stuff and everything, because this ship is from the past 22 years, because it was a 22-year time period in this particular episode. So in this particular episode, it was a 22-year time difference and stuff. We saw them, then Picard allowed them to a damage away team to beam aboard the Enterprise C and stuff. And then we got to the Enterprise C. We saw, they said, try to keep your question, try not to answer their questions if they ask and stuff and everything, which I thought was pretty good, that they kept it, not just say, hey, look, you jumped 22 years in the future, blah, 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 and everything. But I'm glad that they kind of kept that from them until yes, but when
Sorry.
as soon as we saw
It was
that
futile.
they was trying to they basically they got sensor reading. When they took sensor readings, there was 125 life forms or life signs that they detected and stuff and everything else. So we saw the away team on the bridge. They beamed the Captain Garrett to the Enterprise with Crusher and stuff, and then Geordi was looking over. They was able to stabilize life support because they were going to lose life support. Then they were trying to stabilize the main power couplings and stuff. But then also they heard somebody coughing and stuff and everything. Boom! Right out of the thing, there was a gentleman. Nobody talked about him. Lieutenant Castillo, Richard Castillo, which was played by Christopher McDonald, who was a really fine actor. He played Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore. He had a lot of other things. I like him, But Lieutenant, go ahead.
He was in Insurrection as well.
That's right. He was in the Insurrection. He was in Insurrection and stuff and everything. This.
I forget the character's name, but he is one of the lead villagers for the Baku.
I'm not for sure. I have to look that up. I'm not for sure. I have to look that up. But I remember when they said that he was one of the only last surviving bridge crew members and stuff and everything. He was a helmsman and stuff and everything else. I was like, oh wow, Also, they show what I really liked about this particular episode is anybody who watched this and everything else, because it was in 1990, and we were just still coming fresh off of the 25th year anniversary of Star Trek in the sense like TOS and everything else. They still had the monster maroon, or you could say the Star Trek 2 uniforms, and I really like that the fact that they kept that continuity where they show that there was a certain point in time where uniform, because me and Dave, we talked about this, about the uniforms and stuff. It's like, in this particular episode, they got rid of the belt and they got rid of the turtlenecks. You could tell that they kind of like, as the years gone by and everything else from Kirk nowadays, where they had a turtleneck and the long sleeves under their jackets and stuff. It stayed the same, changed a little bit and everything else, which was pretty fantastic to see that and everything else in this particular episode. It showed that the length of time that the Starfleet uniforms haven't changed in a great deal of time. Only in that like 22-year period that you've seen that the Wrath of Khan type uniforms versus the TNG uniforms and stuff, in which I was pretty impressed and stuff. So, when they was in the sick bay and the captain, basically Captain Picard, came to see Rachel Garrett, they were just talking and stuff and everything, and she didn't understand because she was like from the because Riker mentioned from the Enterprise or something like that. He just kind of, he didn't say it, but when Crusher said, "I got beamer back to the Enterprise," and then she said, "What?" That was like, wait, you opened up a whole new level of type of things.
I'm so sorry. I'm in a very strange mood tonight. I'm in a very strange mood tonight. I think I'm delirious from cold and lack of sleep.
Hey, what's up? When he was started talking to Captain Garrett, he was telling her just how they jumped 22 years in the future. Basically, make a long story short, they jumped 22 years in the future and stuff and everything. She explained that when they was responding to a distress call at Narendra III, a Klingon outpost that was attacked by 4 Romulan warbirds and stuff. They defeated it. So fast forward, because I know you guys all talked about this before. The thing that her and Captain Picard discussed on the Enterprise C, he said quietly out loud what Starfleet had said, that in 6 months they thought the war would be over. They're going to surrender to the Klingon Empire because many lives, according to Guinan, 40 billion people have lost their life in the war, in the 22-year war. He basically was trying to convince them that they need to go back. They got to go back through the rift. They got to go back and face their, I hate to say it, their own mortality and stuff, because that will prevent the war. And you start thinking about that too. It's like, their death prevented the war between what we seen in yesterday's Enterprise and stuff and everything, because the Klingons, they said Klingons respect honor above all else. If they died defending, they were still adversaries, but your adversary is defending, your people and stuff and everything. They was thinking, you know what? We got to, they died defending our people. That makes them some honorable and stuff and everything else. And that's why, Captain Garrett realized, we're going to die, but we're going to die like Starfleet. We're going to die. We're going to die making sure that if our death prevents a war, so be it. And then she said a lot of her crew, quite a bit of member of her crew wanted to go back because they didn't like running from a fight. They knew they was outgunned and stuff like that, but they was gonna give them hell. But one thing too that I don't know people, and I know people, anybody can disagree with me and stuff and everything, but the continuity between this episode versus what's that, Redemption? Redemption, not part 1 but part 2, when we learned that Tasha Yar basically had a daughter, Celia. This Guinan said something in Redemption about Celia being Tasha Yar's daughter.
Celia.
The reason why Celia.
Be right back. I'm still here.
Okay, Celia was Tasha Yar's daughter. It's because he sent her back in time. Well, I started thinking about this. Look, if Tasha did not go back with them on the Enterprise C, because she appeared on the Enterprise D, but she went back in time, another time, where Tasha was a child in 22 years when the Enterprise C was destroyed and stuff. So Guinan kind of blamed Picard because she even said, this is probably, she even said in Redemption, I think, this is your fault because, you sent Tasha back in time. Well, he didn't. She asked to go back in time. He gave her permission to go back in time.
Yeah.
But he did not force her to and stuff. And who knows what the timeline would have been like if they would have written Tasha did not go on the Enterprise C and stuff. And I always thought that was the continuity between, when Guinan said to Picard in Redemption about, I think, all of this is your fault in a sense because you sent Tasha back in time and Sela was, half human, half Romulan and all that stuff. But needless to say, getting back to this particular episode, we got to the point where there was Klingons in this vicinity, and they mentioned this. I really like this one thing that they mentioned, Archer 4. And they talked about Archer 4, and it was mentioned again too in Enterprise and stuff and everything else. And you could, and I thought it was really interesting because they gave a name to a planetary system named after Captain Archer, who was the NX-01, captain at the time and stuff and everything. So,
Enterprise wasn't for another 10 plus years after this episode aired, so that makes it interesting.
The name Archer, but the name Archer, in a sense, they were. It was a name to them in Star Trek. They was familiar with and stuff. To us, we just thought it was another planet. We didn't assume that. Oh, this planet was named, or this star system was named after, Jonathan Archer and stuff. Which I thought that was pretty neat. And then, Riker mentioned that they gave them a good pacing, around that planet and stuff and everything else. Of course, the Enterprise was faster than the Klingon ships and stuff, which we saw Captain Garrett got killed. Castile went to Picard, said, "Hey, look, I could take the Enterprise. Everybody's ready to follow me. We can go back and we can continue with, the plan and stuff and everything else." Riker objected. As y'all pointed out, he was more in this particular Riker was very he objected more loudly than you would see him if it wasn't a war and stuff and everything else. He would have did it probably not in front of the crew and stuff. But Castile took, along with Tasha Yar, after Picard approved her, going to the Enterprise C, went through back through the rift. But yet we saw the fight between the Enterprise and the 3 Klingon ships and stuff and everything else. And I can tell you too, and I don't know if people can say this because I know me and Dave talked about this. The battle in this, it was one of the first battles that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. But only as when I got older and started really when Star Trek Star Trek Deep Space Nine came along, and the production budget and stuff and everything else up the antes, and they had more, when they was going for more practical effects with the models versus, more the CGI stuff and everything. So I really enjoy. At the time, I enjoy seeing Klingon ships and Federation ships, stuff like that. But yet, when you get into Deep Space Nine, you actually see a very intense fighting scenes. Like ships are not just slowly moving along, shooting their weapons, just kind of when they say, attack pattern, you just see a ship just kind of slowly drift and move and everything. No, the Defiant, we seen the Defiant was fast, maneuverable, and everything, and it spun all around everything else. Deep Space Nine stepped up the game when it came to Star Trek battles. And I really, compared to this, I look back and I seen this particular battle. It just seems so. To me, it kind of seems so lazy in a battle way.
Sorry, I'm still getting used to this. We got 50 live viewers now, so
yeah. But
come over to YouTube, everybody.
In particular, with this episode
down below,
I like how they did everything in the sense, because you guys pointed out earlier, and y'all pointed out how, like, Tasha was, they brought Tasha back in, or Tasha wasn't dead. The Enterprise was a warship. She mentioned too that their capacity, they can have a maximum a maximum deployment of troops of 6,000, which the Galaxy class starship can actually for evacuation purposes, not all the time, but for evacuation purposes, they can evacuate up to 15,000 individuals on for a Galaxy class starship and stuff and everything else. But that's just one little thing that I like about the stats about this particular episode and stuff. Also, too, the fact that we saw their uniform. We've seen how their uniforms were. The TNG style. They still had the TNG style, but they had, if anybody's seen, they had like cuffs on their wrists. They had these cuffs. They had these like Delta cuffs. Everybody had these Delta cuffs. They had belts, which was holding their phasers and stuff, which was interesting to see because they was basically in a war and stuff and everything else. You seen how like in on the Enterprise C. They was basically, even Dave even said this, they had the phasers from the Wrath of Khan. They bought out the Wrath of Khan phasers. And I was pretty surprised to see, see them that bought out there, because of course they was in storage. They could just, bring out the, costumes and stuff and their props and everything else because it's all in storage and everything else. But it was interesting to see that little continuity of, the old style and what would be the new style, but it was a different alternate reality style and stuff and everything. Katie, you was going to say something?
Yeah, it's just registered with me because I am a little bit slow tonight, people. I think Zach's clouded my mind with other things. But
I mean, you're thinking about chickens. I mean, I'd be worried too.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it just begs the question if I am the only one who thinks that about those belts. But no, it's just clicked in my mind. I don't think Travis read the comment. It just in my mind that Travis was saying about the actual battle scene and like how almost slow motion it was compared to like what we've seen in DS9 and things. But I actually quite liked the steady pace and the slowness of this and the movements of the ships, because
it's like a dance.
It was more of a waltz than a tango or a foxtrot kind of thing, but it also gave a more of an ominous feel to it. Like when you saw that first bird of prey break off really slowly to go towards the Enterprise C, it was quite a statement rather than it just zipping away. And I liked the pace of it because it gave more of a it's almost like the pace of it almost enhanced the danger. And the fact that we actually never saw the Enterprise D get destroyed, yet we saw fire that basically consumed the entire shot before we saw those two birds of prey that were left, just giving everything that they got. Oh, there we go. Giving everything that it had, that they had to the Enterprise D, but we never actually saw it blow up, because even though
that timeline I figured that timeline ended before it exploded.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering that as well, because it just switched to the Enterprise C going back through the rift, and we didn't hear an explosion or anything. There was absolutely nothing. So I like the pace of it was very, very well done for me. And I think that in this instance, the slow methodical movements that it made the entire scene for me, rather than it being all zippy and all
Now, speaking of slow, methodical movements, the Enterprise C took forever to go back through the rift, I thought.
Yeah.
I like that angle there, Phil.
Also, but you know what, Dave? I thought about the same thing. What you're saying about that, but I understand. I deduced this with her, being, badly, was badly damaged in the first battle and stuff and everything else. You could say, structural integrity was limited. They didn't want to, like, have the ship speed really fast, and they
Didn't
wanted
they also take fire as well?
And
not as much fire as the D did.
Oh,
but that'd have slowed them down as well.
The D was laying down suppressive fire to make sure the E can get, or the C can get into the rift, so they can go back in time and stuff and everything else. Which, like you said, it took what was it, 58 seconds, 53 seconds, something like that. It was like, how long until the C gets back in, goes through the rift and stuff and everything else. And in that time frame, there can be a lot of fire damage to either or the Enterprise and the Klingon ships and stuff. They was able to destroy one Klingon ship and everything else, but they spent more time, doing a lot of battle assessment. Of course, at that time, the Enterprise.
Tyson's not here. Katie's taking Tyson's place.
The Enterprise D had better deflector shields than the E and stuff. Of course, that's what Tasha was telling Castile about deflector technology and stuff and everything else. And I see, that at that time, because the Enterprise C was a different type of ship. It was an ambassador class, as they call it, and stuff and everything else. The Federation was still using ambassador class. Doing it, I remember. Correct me if I'm not wrong, Dave. The Battle of Wolf 359. There was the Yamaguchi. I believe it was the Yamaguchi was a ambassador class.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah,
it was the Yamaguchi.
Okay, they still use those type of class ships and stuff and everything else, but at that, and of course they of course time has gone by and everything else, but like this particular, in this particular episode and stuff and everything. They said 3 Cavort class birds of prey, which those are some of the top of the line birds of prey in the Klingon Imperial fleet and stuff and everything else. And they were they had some pretty heavy ordnance and stuff and everything else, especially to it was 3 of them against 1 Galaxy class starship. And as Katie put it out, the Enterprise, was laying down suppressive fire and taking, they was trying to cover the Enterprise C. But, at that time, I was excited when I was a kid, when I watched this and everything else. And I watch it now and I'm thinking too, the battle scene could have been, at that time it was in a sense, one of the first types of big battles that they did in TNG and stuff, but they used practical effects and stuff and everything else. It wasn't one where they used CGI and everything else. And I still appreciate it and everything else, but it just seemed like the slow pace of it. It was like, okay, we know the slow pace of ships in space, and we've seen ships and stuff like that. They could be a lot more. Granted, the Enterprise was a bigger ship. These Klingon ships can be very maneuverable, given the way that they're designed and the capability and stuff and everything else. It kind of just seems like, oh, I understand it was in 1990 and other things, but yet, go ahead, Katie.
But what about the gravitational distortions? Wouldn't that have affected how fast they could travel? Because depending on how erratic the gravitational distortions would all depend on how it affected the containment field. Yeah, and also the impulse engines and things like that. Because if the gravitational distortion was erratic enough, especially because it was starting to break down, that could have also made it so that they couldn't go much faster without compromising other systems. And maybe that's another reason why there was such slow movement, because in a situation like that, especially with them being outnumbered, so to speak, at least at first until one of the birds of prey were destroyed. And same with the birds of prey as well.
Plausible hypothesis.
It could be, even though it wasn't actually discussed, the gravitational distortions could have been affecting the systems on the ship. I'm so glad that Zach isn't looking at the screen. But you know, I'm kind of thinking there was. I still blame Zach. But you know, maybe that's why. I mean, I'm kind of going down more of a scientific route here, because normally when there's gravitational distortions, it does affect the impulse engines and it affects the warp core as well.
Well, they do. They are able.
Was already you know, the containment field was already down, and there was already a breach.
Well, you're talking about the, you know. From what I do understand too, you know, Federation ships at that one point, you would say, like, you know, the Enterprise, the NX-01 would have been, you know, affected by, you know, the distortions of the gravitational outputs of this rift and stuff and everything else. But Starfleet, I guess, would learn to compensate for those, you know, gravitational distortions using, you know, their navigational deflectors or other stuff that, you know, could theoretically cut through and, you know, make sure that they're not, like, you know, creating a warp field in, you know, probably will collapse a warp field in a gravitational distortion, as we've seen in this particular episode in the rift and stuff.
I was right. I've just Googled it.
Oh,
yeah, gravitational distortions would affect the impulse engines in Star Trek, although the extent depends on the specific era and technological content. While impulse engines are often described as relying on Newtonian physics,
that's why they took.
They frequently incorporate subtler technologies to manage massive ships, but
guess what? This is what's happening right now. Right over my head.
But yeah.
Anything, really quick. Like, let's fast forward, because I know we gotta probably wrap this up here really soon. Okay, we all know what happened. The Enterprise C gets back into the rift. Timeline changes. Even though Tasha shouldn't have been on that ship, she should have been still on the Enterprise D.
Yep.
They went back and, you know, they went back to the, you know, original timeline stuff. So, do you want to take this down? You want me to say this about 10-4 when Guinan was in 10-4 and she was talking to Geordi?
You care if I
goes in?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'll let you finish. I want to. I kind of found something that we can reflect on that kind of describes this episode.
Yeah, saying when they had Geordi sitting in 10-4, he was still wearing the alternate universe uniform because you could see the cuffs. And it's just like, and one of the other things, just kind of circling back a little bit on the uniforms, it wasn't just the cuffs and the belts, the neck. It didn't have that little cut around the Adam's apple. It was a full turtleneck type thing going there too. But
I saw that. I did not see that when I was young, but
didn't pick up on it. Didn't pick up on younger when I saw it say, Geordi's not wearing the right uniform. What the hell?
Geordi. They got swapped. What if they did? What if they got swapped, right? I mean, interesting things.
But
I'm gonna sum up. I kind of want to sum up. So, like, everybody, shut your eyes. Everybody that's viewing, and reflect on this, because I think it sums up this episode. So this comes from 1 Samuel 2. The bows of the mighty are broken, but the feeble gird on strength. Those who were full have hired themselves out for bread, but those who were hungry have ceased to hunger. The barren has borne 7, but she who has many children is forlorn. The Lord kills and brings to life. He brings down to Sheol and raises up. The Lord makes poor and makes rich. He brings low. He also exalts. What happens at the end of the episode?
Yeah.
The Lord brings down and exalts. The Enterprise
That's very
series
interesting.
destroyed.
That is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta ask yourself this question. You gotta ask yourself this question real quick. To that gives throwing out say something like that was applied into real world.
Christmas tree.
Something like what happened. You see, like a death in the past prevent some a few deaths in the past prevent a actual war in the future.
Yeah, one ship might not help with us the here and now, but one ship could have stopped this war before it even began. I think that's exactly how Picard said it, and right then and there, Garrett says, "I get it. We're going back,
and we're gonna fight like hell. We're gonna die, but we're gonna make sure that our
history never forgets the name Enterprise."
Exactly, and we all know she was destroyed, but yet kudos. They really I like how they really, because we all, as a person who I love starships designs, and I'm really into different types of class starships and stuff and everything else. We always wonder, because we jump from the Enterprise A to the Enterprise D. So what's in between? What did the C and D look like, or the B and C look like?
Which that brings up another interesting point that with this talking, because when they originally came up with the Next Generation, they could put the A, the B, the C, the D, and all those on the wall in the conference room. The C on the wall is different than what the C we got in this episode. There's subtle differences.
Interesting.
Yep.
I don't know that.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was and stuff. And I mean, we actually got we got every letter up to the Enterprise F, or I should say G, of Enterprise on the big screen. Not so much the big screen, but on the screen that we know of and stuff and everything else. We got an A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
And J.
And J, but we forgot to, I mean, we got the Enterprise.
I like the J. I don't like the G. That. I'm sorry, but no, I don't like. I do not like the Titan. I do not like the Titan. I still maintain that the nacelles look like Lego. And I have told Todd Stashwick that myself.
And how did he react?
He laughed, because I said, I absolutely love the Titan, I really do, but the nacelles, they look a little bit like Lego. And he laughed, and he was just like, "Are you really insulting my ship?" And I'm just like, "No, I love your ship. I just don't like the nacelles. Please change them." And he just went, "Okay, fair." It was on one of his lives.
Oh, my Lanta dear. Yeah,
but he took it all in good fun. But yeah.
Wait, is that the one from season 3 Picard?
Yes.
Yes, the one that was.
Now I'm gonna have to look at it again. I don't remember.
It was disgracefully renamed the Enterprise G, and I'm sorry, but I don't accept that.
How did it go from the Titan to the Enterprise G?
They renamed it in honor of Picard because and the fact that the Enterprise the Enterprise D that had been destroyed and it was salvaged kind of basically saved them from the Borg yet again. But they did it to honor that and to honor Picard. But in my opinion, by renaming the Titan, it takes away everything the Titan did, because they should have created a new ship to be the Enterprise G, and they should have kept the Titan as the Titan, because
maybe they did. Maybe they did another Connie 3 and renamed it the Titan. So it's just kind of a Lego effect.
I don't know, but I still don't like it, because by renaming it the Enterprise G, it's kind of like overwriting the legacy of the Titan and everything that they did within that battle, because even though the Enterprise D was like, you know, if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have won. But also the Titan, if those two ships hadn't have worked together, it was basically those two ships against a full fleet and like a new collective of Borg. And they basically overwrote the Titan, and I don't like that. I find it very disrespectful to the Titan.
Well, what about those of the Yorktown? Because in Star Trek 4, they renamed the Yorktown. They say, your camera's not liking what you're saying, Kay, because it keeps on flipping you upside down more than any other podcast that I remember.
Yes, it was originally named Yorktown.
Yeah, but they renamed the USS Yorktown to Enterprise A.
And you know, I don't agree with renaming a ship. I really don't. If they want to honor something, like the Enterprise G, if they want to do that honor, build a new freaking ship. You know,
in the Dogs of War in DS9, when they got a new Defiant class, it was originally named San Paulo, and then with special disposition from the chief of operations of Starfleet, they was allowed to rename the ship back to Defiant.
Isn't that?
And miraculously, it got the same markings. They didn't rename it they should, if they did that, they should have done it the Defiant A, and not just the Defiant. But they didn't want to change the CGI models.
How about the pompous ass?
Enterprise B was an Excelsior class ship, but it wasn't the Excelsior renamed, was it though?
No, it was a
whole new separate. Okay.
Yeah, and
there were two types of Excelsior. There was two types of Excelsiors: Excelsior Type A and Excelsior Type B.
Oh.
Yeah,
the Enterprise B was Excelsior Type B,
which essentially all it was the Excelsior model with the little things stuck to the sides.
All right,
just so they could blow it up and not damage.
So Excelsior A was the Excelsior. Excelsior B was the Enterprise B.
Yeah. Well, Excelsior 1 and Excelsior 2. Yeah, saying so. It's the Excelsior variant.
Yeah,
but I don't. Yeah, I don't agree with renaming ships. I don't. Remodel them by all means. You know, upgrade them, put new hardware on. You know, software, all that. I don't mind that, because, you know, everything needs upgrading, but completely changing the name of it and overwriting the legacy of that ship, that's basically what they're doing. And, you know, they say, oh, yes, we're going to rename this ship. You know, this glorious ship that has done so much to win this war, and we're going to rename it and completely wipe the name off it. And to me, that's disrespectful.
We're going to rename it the USS Barbara.
Considering also its captain died.
Exactly. You know, if they were going to rename it, that they should have renamed it after him.
Name it after the captain. Yeah.
You know.
That would be.
I think it's funny that he was supposed to be such an annoying captain that nobody was supposed to like, and yet when you talk to people, everybody apparently really liked him.
I didn't like him at first.
I didn't.
He was kind of pompous at first.
He's very. very much so.
You see,
Very,
I
very,
didn't like him at first, and then I started to really like him, and then I got really pissed off with him when he had a pop at Picard. But then I understood, but at the same time, I was still really pissed off because I'm just like, do you know what? You're out of order. Oh, Sir Jim. But you know, I had very mixed feelings about Shaw, but I do love Todd Stashwick. He is absolutely amazing. He played that so well, and you know, what the hell does that mean?
I think it says Travis is sexy. I have no clue.
No.
Well, that's a
What
given.
does
But
that-
you know, what do the letters mean?
I think it's good
Okay.
to see you.
Good to see you.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe
good to
that's-
see you.
Good to see you.
It could also mean good to.
I got it.
Go to sexy yard.
It could mean go to sexy you.
Go to
It
sexy
could
yard
also
town.
mean
Okay, with
Because-
Dave, there's something before I know we got to conclude our show here soon. You mentioned
Yes, yeah, 'cause- yeah.
institution observation. Okay, when you had over the intercom when Guinan, it was in the beginning where Guinan was looking out the forward port in 10 forward, and she turned around, and you know she started just walking, and she was just kind of, and the
No.
camera was panning on her, and then you could hear background, you know. What
No,
Dave?
it well that was the cetacean ops, that scene.
Yes.
See, but when Tasha and Castile were walking in one of the corridors, there was an intercom call for Lieutenant Barrett.
I
And
must have
even
missed
though
that.
it wasn't explicitly written, but it was said that yes, that is a little nod to Major Barrett. So that
Okay.
I thought
Okay.
that was kind of cool.
So you know,
Nice.
But-
and you know what, in this particular episode too, you could hear, like, you know, the intercoms. It's like, you know, they will. You could hear background, like, you know, so and so report to, you know, XYZ, or you
Mhm.
know, instant blah 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 and stuff and everything else. It was one of those things where it was so different, because in this particular episode it was different. This episode, everybody pointed out that it was very militarized because it was a warship. It was
Nice.
a warship. Their color, their demeanor, like, you know, everybody except for Data, who was still Data and stuff and everything. Wesley was on a bridge and everything else. He was still Wesley.
And Wesley
and
was
stuff.
and a full
Dave
ensign.
has, and Dave gonna have to
Mm.
point out too at the end. He's got some little fun facts about the script, the original script of this particular episode and stuff. It's pretty wild. I didn't even notice that Dave told me this backstage and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
see, like
So you might want to be
yeah.
awake to hear this.
yeah, because this is what Katie agrees on one and like on the other, but the original script had, during the final battle with the Klingons, Data was going to die of electrocution,
They can piss off.
and
Oh,
and Wesley was going to die of being decapitated on the bridge.
oh,
That'd work. That'd work. Just leave Data alone.
Please do the second one. They should have done the second
be
one.
nice if somebody said
But-
shut up,
but
Wesley,
they-
before they cut his head off.
Yes. That would have been hilarious. Shut up, Wesley.
How
No,
gory that
but-
would be! How gory
but-
that would be for a
but-
Star Trek
and-
fan to
and-
see that.
And poor
Except
Katie.
that's one of the reasons why they decided not to shoot it.
Yeah.
But the other one was time constraints.
Time
Mm.
constraints, yeah.
But I mean, so
Yeah.
they opted for
Not cutting his
Riker
head
getting kind of gored on the side of the neck with the debris when the bridge exploded around him.
Shrapnels with a bunch of
Which-
shrapnels
which-
flying around.
Shannon would triumphantly spank ER. She did, didn't she? It's been a minute.
But there's like another reason, like with the set design, which ironically closely mirrored what they ended up doing for Generations.
It is good, yeah.
Is that the command center of the bridge was raised
Yep.
So it was easier for Picard to hop over the horseshoe to get to tactical after Riker died.
Yeah.
See, this is the.
Go ahead.
And I'm going off of Jim's comment here. This is the best thing about the Next Generation, because I don't think I've ever watched an episode that wasn't bad. In my opinion, I don't think there's really a bad episode.
A Next Generation?
There is.
Yeah.
Season 1. Was it Code of Honor?
I like that.
Even it's when it first aired, it was okay. It did not age well.
I didn't even like it then. I was just like watching it. I remember in my 20s in college going, "This is wrong.
Exactly.
This is really wrong with this."
Exactly, Jim.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to? Who wouldn't want to? She's hot. Probably now at her age. Now.
God, I think that would be I think that would be another topic to discuss about
probably
some of our worst what we think are the worst topic of each series of episodes and stuff and everything else, because I know we wouldn't all agree and everything else, but I've been watching some guys and they just finished Star Trek Next Generation, and they did their top 10 favorite and top 10 not so favorite, and one of their dislikes is, I think, Force of Nature, times matter.
That was a good one to me, but I can see why. I can see why people might not like that.
Matter of Time.
Is Force of Nature?
What's that? Imaginary Friend and Naquiel. These guys, they hate it. Huh?
Can you ask them what they're smoking, and so I can have some?
What was Force of Nature?
That's the one where they implemented the speed limit for warp because it was destroying subspace.
Yeah. What was
the sister of one of the scientists ended up blowing herself up to make a point.
Yeah. I agree with Aquiel.
Didn't they limit it to like 4.5 or something like that?
Yeah, because that thing killed a cute dog. That's like.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that was absolutely abhorrent. But what's a matter of time?
It was with a gentleman that had a time ship, and he appeared when the Enterprise was en route to a planet that was facing disaster, and his name was
Professor Matt Fewer.
What's that? Burley Hoff Rasmussen.
Was that in season 2 or
season 5?
5
or
6.
Okay, I'm thinking of something else then.
That wasn't a favorite. It wasn't a favorite of theirs and stuff and everything. And I can see what they gave their opinion stuff. What they said about like Force of Nature. One of the guys said about Force of Nature is basically he used the word, stop trying to push your, at the time it's about like oh shit, what we got now, what we call it,
environmentalists. Yeah,
climate change stuff and everything else, and it was like you're forcing this particular episode about like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to limit speed stuff and this and that and everything else, and you forcing your I don't think I'm just paraphrasing, but like it's almost sound like wokeness and stuff and everything else. It's like that episode kind of reeks a little bit of wokeness and trying to force people of climate change. It's like a climate change episode, and they wasn't particularly too liking this particular episode. But needless to say, it's interesting to see what episodes in the entire series from season 1 to season 7 of TNG that a lot of us who we give high praises to, but yet there are ones that I look back and I'm like, ooh, I take a step back and I'm like, that was probably such a it didn't feel like a TNG, and stuff and everything else. Like, they couldn't stand Imaginary Friend. Aquiel was just it was abhorrent to them. it was and everything, because they said it just like destroyed Geordi, character in a sense and everything else. It made him turn out to be something that, it's like that's not who his characters should have been. What were they writing and stuff and everything? But that's just one of the things and stuff like that. But I thought it was Jim. That actually did that win a nominee for Emmy? Didn't I get a didn't The Big Goodbye?
The Big Goodbye?
Maybe.
Which one was that?
I think The Big Goodbye got it.
Yeah.
Like
Cupid. I like Cupid though.
Yeah, Cupid was cute. Say, I protest. I am not a merry man.
I don't mind that episode. I think it's quite funny.
It is one of the dumb ones, but I mean, it's got a lot of heart to it. And like Troy hitting Data square in the chest. It's just like he just like, you didn't hit anything. Your aim's.
You see, one episode that I'm not too keen on is
Command season
Chain of Command.
Episode 2.
What?
Chain of Command, Jim.
Well, wasn't it? It wasn't the second episode, but it was about midway through the season for Next Generation, because it was a springboard for Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
see, I'm not keen on the what's it called? It's right at the beginning. I think it's the episode after Encounter at Farpoint where they all get ill.
Naked now.
Literally. Yeah. The best part, the only part of that is actually really good is when, Data and I'm sorry, but that
that's probably the high point of that episode.
But the highest point for me between them getting it on, yes, we know that, between them getting it on is the very short sentence of conversation that happened at the end.
That was a hilarious episode.
Yes, it was funny in places, but me personally, I think that the funniest part about it was Data being affected by it. That literally was the funniest part of it. And
if you prick me, do I not leak?
Exactly. Oh, honestly, I nearly wet myself when I watched that every single time. Honestly, but no, I do think that we should go through and do our top 10 and bottom 10. I do think that would be a good idea to see how different we are in our preferences.
Yeah, I'm saying, depending on what kind of turnout we get on it, it's just like a top 5 at the very least. But yeah, if we just get a small participation, definitely do a top 10 or either that, or maybe do 10-6 on the first episode and then do 5-1 the next week after that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very interesting.
That would be fun, actually. I think it would be great to get everybody's opinion. Yeah, the top 5 and worst 5, I think would actually be really fun.
Yeah, kind of make it different. Instead of doing it, everyone's doing a top 10. Let's just do a top best of and worst of it for each series. So next, do a top 5 for Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise.
You mean I gotta watch I gotta binge watch the whole week?
Well, you don't have to binge watch. I mean, you can just write down your episodes and highlights, lowlights.
You see, I just go through IMDb. I just go through IMDb and refresh my memory on all the episodes.
I say
Jim binge watch.
Jim thinks it's great.
Yeah, Jim thinks it's a great idea. And say, do we want to just focus on the Berman era? Or do we want to trickle into the new Trek and talk?
We've got to include Discovery and Strange New Worlds as well.
Okay,
and Lower Decks.
Lower Decks, that's going to be a really hard one to come up with a top 5 and worst 5.
I could quite easily come up with a worst 5
on YouTube. Who are the two guys going through episode by episode of Star Trek? They became really popular. The channel got really popular.
Travis,
Oh.
you know who that is.
Do you mean the Shuttlepod show?
So they actually in like my neck of the wood, but in a sense, but they're up in Ohio near I believe Cleveland and stuff.
Cleveland.
Their channel is called Target Audience.
That's it. They're a lot of fun. I actually really like them.
Oh, I do too. I have been watching them ever since they started TOS. I love hearing their opinions about TOS and stuff because they don't hold back and everything else. They have their ups and downs about all the TOS and the TOS movies and stuff and everything else. Right now, they're on a break right now because they just finished season 2 of Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
And that was just last month. And they're gonna be start after the New Year's. They're gonna start picking up into season 3 of DS9, where they finished with all of TNG and stuff and everything else. And they just recently put out you can see it on YouTube. You can see their dislikes and likes of episodes and stuff, and they go really hard. I mean, when their dislikes, they really butcher some. They really go at it with their dislikes on some of their episodes, and I'm thinking like, yikes! But these guys, when they are reacting to some of these new episodes, so because people are telling them, hey, look, now y'all getting into Deep Space Nine, that people are going. The people have said, get through season 1 and season 2. There is going to be ups and downs and stuff, but you guys are.
I'm gonna check them out.
Whoa! Just pause. What do you mean? Just get through season 1 and 2? I'm sorry, but seasons 1 to 4 are the best of DS9.
Season 1 and 2 of DS9, because a lot of their fans and people who was in there saying, look, it's slow pace. Season 1 and 2 are very slow. If you get past when you start getting into like the latter half of Deep Space Nine, where the Maquis, it picks up a little bit better and stuff. But when you start getting into season 3, that's when the storytelling and the way they tell these characters and stuff and everything else. Everybody told these guys, you are going to really enjoy DS9 from season 3 all the way to season 7, because season 2, season 1 and 2, they're a slow paced burn for a lot of people. And I have heard, and I've seen a lot of people, have mentioned that season 1 and 2 have been a lot of, it comes off to them as, they're trying to find a foothold. They're trying to find a foothold.
I agree with that.
And I do too.
The reason why I prefer like seasons 1 to 4, after season 4, I start getting bored. And there's very few episodes that I like in seasons 5, 6, and 7. But from like season 5 onwards, I started getting so bored. And it was just the same old with a couple of, standalone episodes in between, like Dr. Bashir, I presume, and a couple of others. But, for me, seasons 1 to 4, seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 of DS9 are the best ones because, yes, it's a little bit of a slower pace and it does gradually get up, but there's a lot, that slower pace gives us so much. And if people watch programs properly and not just watch them surface level, they will see that there's a lot more to the slower pace episodes than what meets the eye. And so many people now, they're just like, oh, I'm not watching this because it's so slow. I'm struggling with this because it's so slow, and it's like, hold on a minute, you can't have action all the time, and sometimes you need that go slow for a build up. And sometimes on these go slow episodes, and even these episodes where it's well, yeah, but it's needed for sometimes like backstory of characters, like B plot storylines. There's messages in every episode, and these slower paced ones often tell more of a story than ones that are full of action.
There's a lot of people too to say this: the Dominion arc. They, the Dominion
drew it
arc
out too long.
is, huh?
They drew the entire Dominion War out far too long, and this is why I started getting bored. And really? I don't get bored easily, Travis. Ask anyone that knows me. I very rarely get bored. It takes a lot to get me bored. But do you know how I struggled with season 1 of Discovery? I struggled with season 5 and then season 6 and 7. I struggled with that as much as I did with season 1 of Discovery because I was so bored. And I can count on my hands with spaces how many times I have got so bored that I have questioned whether I'm going to stop watching something.
Wow, I would think the Dominion story arc would have been like one of the things to stand out in Star Trek, because it actually showed just how brutal a war can be and the effects that it took.
I'm not taken away from that. I'm not. And the Dominion War was epic and it went so deep. However, it was just drawn out for so long. And it's almost like, for me, the way that it was dragged out, it kind of became, in some parts, not all parts, but in certain parts, it started to become a little bit repetitive with, just certain things that had happened. And it was almost like they felt the need to carry that on because they couldn't come up with anything else to write. And that's why they dragged it out over like 3 seasons.
Wow. You're the first person I ever heard to say that. I see people comments, and a lot of fans always say, and it's the general consensus is the best part of Deep Space Nine is, huh?
And do you know why? Because with how the majority of people, even in the mid-90s, by then, sci-fi especially was starting to get really up there, and like action movies were starting to get very up there, and things were becoming a lot faster paced, and there were action movies, sci-fi action movies, things like that. They were starting to become a lot more popular, and it was because of things like Star Trek and Star Wars. People expected fast-paced. They expected conflict. They didn't want the deep, slower storylines. That they didn't want resolution too quickly because they liked the drama. They liked the war, and it's like it was almost glamorizing war with how they dragged it. And this is what people wanted. They wanted it to be dragged out. They wanted action. They wanted the drama. And then when there was like the in-between, like standalone episodes that were slower paced, it was like a bit of a palate cleanser, so to speak. That's how those episodes were seen. And there's some really good episodes in between this big story arc that are like standalone episodes, but they're passed off because of the Dominion War. And I think that if they hadn't have dragged it out for so long, I would like DS9 a hell of a lot more than I do.
There are people who actually, and this is just from what I hear among fans and stuff and everything else, they call DS9 the better of all the Star Trek series as a whole. They said it
Seasons
is
1
actually
to 4, absolutely.
no, they said they said the entire franchise, the entire season, the entire series franchise and everything, because of the of characters and stuff and everything else, because of the the writing that they was more able to do with what's his name? Ira. Oh my God, Dave
Stephen Bear.
Ira Stephen Bear. Yeah, when he became the showrunner and stuff and everything else, a lot of people said that he was basically like Terry Matalas for season 3 of Star Trek Picard and stuff and everything else, and a lot of people saying that even Voyager can't touch what Deep Space Nine will accomplish.
Whoa. That is blasphemy for me. I'm sorry. You see, for me, the thing with the Kazon in Voyager went on for far too long, if you ask me. That entire conflict with the Kazon lasted too long for me. Don't get me wrong. They cut it off before it started to get too tedious, but it was starting to get really tedious for me. Now, if they'd have carried that on anymore, like they did in DS9 with the Dominion War, it had started to get really tedious and repetitive for me. And, it's like they didn't know when to quit. Yes, but it was her choice to leave.
Yeah, because she was hot.
Yeah, although, Ezri. Ooh.
She was hot too.
They both were. Ooh. Never mind.
So much lust today, everybody.
I blame you. But no, I know that I am very much on my own with my opinion of DS9, and I'm okay with that. But it is very rare that I get bored watching something. But I actually did get bored of DS9. I love it. I really do. But I think that they should have cut off the Dominion War at the very latest halfway through season 6. They should have cut it off then and gone on to something else, because it just dragged on and dragged on. And I'm sorry, but it started in season 4. And they dragged it out more or less right up until season 7.
Yeah, but didn't it have the whole point of it was the wormhole though? So,
yes.
I mean, that's the only reason why that I couldn't. I was always intrigued with Deep Space Nine. I'm weird though. I like long, drawn up.
The wormhole thing brought out, everybody. It was the Alpha Quadrant people wanted to explore a new frontier, a new part of the galaxy that nobody, knew about and stuff. But we started getting in season 2. There was, they started dropping little hints of the Dominion and stuff and everything else, because we heard the first name was in was it not the Rules of Acquisition, because that was in season 1. But they met the Dozai, and the Dozai was a female Dozai.
Profit and loss.
Profit and loss. They dropped the hint and stuff and everything else, and just mentioned, hey, look, if you want to do business in the Gamma Quadrant, you're gonna have to do business with the Dominion. They started doing those little, seeds about, the Dominion stuff, because it was like, what? Anywhere in the galaxy that even when Voyager came across, there was some great power. They came across some very powerful, empires, or Imperiums and stuff and everything else, and they wanted to cross their territory, but yet, you know what I mean, it's like, should we go around it? How long it's gonna take us to go around it? This and that. The Tusk, yes. The Tusk was said to be part of the Dominion and stuff and everything. And it opened up a huge new thing because, you know, they wanted a big bad, instead of the Borg being the big bad that we all seen and stuff and everything else, they bought us the Dominion. You know, the big bad from the Gamma Quadrant was the Dominion.
Yeah.
You know, and the Dominion, you know, was so scary because they were, unlike the Borg, they were flesh and blood. The Borg, yeah, flesh and blood with, you know, technology and stuff, but the Dominion, they represent something in the sense that no one else seen. And then, you know, we've got to find out, oh wow, the founders of the Dominion, there was one on the station at the whole time. They are, you know, literally goo people, as you know, who called it that one time? Captain Shaw, he called them goo people. You know, and it's like, wow, this is really interesting to see, you know, how these particular life forms treat others on a different side of the galaxy and stuff and everything else. And it was not pretty and stuff, you know. And a lot of people, if I hear a lot of consensus when it comes to the Dominion and the whole thing about Deep Space Nine is that they introduce more characters and more species in Deep Space Nine than they did in Star Trek Next Generation. Now, Voyager, because each episode they will come and visit. They would like visit different, like, you know, each episode you they come across new different species. That was a dead given because they're crossing the galaxy. You take care, Jim. Thank you for stopping by. Absolutely, and you know, Merry Christmas. You be safe.
Merry Christmas, Jim.
And have a happy
Merry
New
Christmas,
Year.
my darling. Mwah.
And it, you know, it's a dead given because it was
No,
like,
it's
you
not
know,
one.
these would not open up a lot more frontier with, you know, new alien species from the wormhole, like Zach said, from another part of the galaxy that was unexplored. You know, Voyager, same way. We saw Voyagers trek through the Delta Quadrant to the point where they encountered the, you know, the transwarp hub and stuff, and that was it for them. They got back home and stuff. But, you know, it's all subjective.
But yeah, guys, we've been at it for getting
yes.
close to 3 hours. And I've been up for a good 18 hours. It's been a long ass day.
It's the Christmas special episode.
Listen to this.
It is the Christmas special.
I'd
like to thank everybody that I see that have held strong over on X. It looks like we've held pretty strong over on X. So why don't y'all come over to Dave Prime 1701, subscribe over on YouTube, and hit that bell, and that way you'll be notified every Wednesday starting January 7th. Next week is Monday, though.
Yeah, next week we're still going to do it on Monday, but in the new year we're going to switch back to Wednesdays. We're going to do it at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So it's just a little bit later, but based on the numbers that we're getting tonight, this time seems to be working for everybody. And with my work life, say I moved to Mondays because Wednesdays I was meeting my AA sponsor, but I have a new sponsor, so my Wednesdays are wide open again.
Oh, the camera likes my hat.
Exactly. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Happy birthday to me. Say I'm hitting
Yes.
on Thursday.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday, Dave.
Very happy birthday, Dave.
That's right. Dave's birthday. Dave, listen to this. The score right now, San Francisco 48. The Colts 20-27, and it's the fourth quarter with 3 minutes to go.
Oh, gee, that's a high scoring
Is this the
game
NFL?
on both sides. Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, I prefer the NHL.
That's better.
When you watch the NHL, Katie, do you watch it expecting a hockey game to pop off during the fight, or a fight to pop off during the hockey game?
My dad used to make that joke years ago. He said this why he quit watching hockey. He just wanted to watch a hockey game and a fight breaks out.
Good night, Diller.
That's why I
Merry
watch.
Christmas, easy.
They're getting soft these days. They're getting soft.
Well, thanks, Dylan.
Thank you for supporting
Merry Christmas,
us.
Dylan.
Thank
And
you.
to you
Merry
as well, my
Christmas.
darling.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you and all. And this has been fun and everything. Like we said, people, our comments and stuff. Give us, some subject at hand that we can talk about and everything else, because we talked about it before and everything else, and we like to hear other people's opinion about, like, what y'all thoughts about, what we could discuss on this channel and stuff and everything. Don't feel free to comment down below, or reach out to Dave and Katie and just say, hey, look, I think this would be pretty good to have a discussion. And as we said before, feel free to come and join us when we're live. We love the participation. We will like participation with more of y'all viewers out here and stuff. So we are one of the few channels that actually offer that participation with the link down below.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And we
so
want to
get
hear your
there.
beautiful voices. We really do. And you don't have to show your face if you don't want to, although it'd be lovely to see you. But, come and put me in my place about DS9. Or, as Travis tries to do TOS. It won't work, but you can always try.
Yep. I knew it was coming. Or tell Katie why the best movie series is not TNG, but the original series. That'll get her on a tangent. That'll get her on a long tangent. I said that with love.
And tell her that William Shatner fighting that Gorn. Tell her William Shatner fighting that Gorn in the episode on Cesta 3 was
gay.
One of the top favorite people's, like, the Gorn, Shatner and the Gorn.
That's only because the Gorn was
sorry,
gay.
but I prefer the Gorn in Strange New Worlds, because those baby hatchlings are adorable.
They should make little
They
plushies
moved
of them. That's
Oh, they're so cute. But yeah, no.
This is technically Trek, everyone. Aren't
Yeah,
you glad that you spent almost 3 hours?
We appreciate.
Yeah, we still got them. We still got 50 live viewers. So thanks for sticking around, everybody. I'm going to bed because until next week.
Come back
until next week.
Merry Christmas, Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day.
Or not Earth Day, sorry.
Earth Day, that's not until April, dude. Winter
Sorry,
solstice.
wrong holiday.
Are you thinking
Life
the
Day,
winter
Happy
solstice?
Life Day.
Oh. Apparently it was.
In 3
today
days,
was National.
your king was born. Rejoice.
Apparently this was National Give a Cookie Day or something like that. Say you're supposed to National Cookie Exchange Day. And say you're supposed to bring cookies to exchange with other people. I'd say. Yeah, I learned that at my physical therapy today. There's someone brought a box of crumble cookies. So it's like, it's a cookie exchange day. It's like, that's a thing.
But also, even though December 21st was the solstice and Yule, it was another day as well, and it was Short Girl Appreciation Day. So
we appreciate it.
Yeah,
and it all culminates with Emmanuel.
But little tidbit, not everybody knows it, but it's like Rick Berman also shares a birthday with me on the 25th. So
okay,
there you go.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Well, I hope everybody has a safe and wonderful.
And you both share a birthday with Jesus Christ.
Yeah, NCCH calendar.
He's born in the fall, though.
But the observed birthday. But see, I gotta go, guys. So until next week, may the spot be with you, and hail Frankly's hailing frequencies are now closed. I can't talk
Closed.
anymore. So
Christ
that's
is
it.
king.
We're done. Bye bye.